Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is March 11th, 2024, and Barcelona are set to wear a special edition jersey for the upcoming El Clasico match. Also, Hansi Flick has reportedly met with Pep Guardiola in order to discuss Barcelona. And finally, Manchester United have set a price for Mason Greenwood. We have a lot to discuss. So let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo and this is the Barca News live podcast, which is on every Mondays and Wednesdays, usually at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I've decided to change the time to 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I will be doing it 1 hour earlier. Also here in the US, we just did the daylight savings time, so we just rewinded our clocks by 1 more hour. So for the countries who don't have daylight saving times, that means that the live stream will actually be 2 hours earlier, which I think it's a pretty good thing for a lot of people, because I know there's a lot of people in Europe who watch the channel. There's people in Africa who watch the channel. There's people in Asia who watch the channel. So obviously they're much ahead as far as their time than here in the US. So I think doing it 2 hours earlier, it's more convenient for people who are much more ahead, and then we're staying up till midnight, till 1 a.m. to watch it. Hopefully now you won't have to stay up so early. But having said all that, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. All this helps the channel continue to grow, especially your likes. Your likes are huge with YouTube algorithm. If you hit the like button, you know, it prompts the YouTube algorithm to recommend the video to more people who've never seen the channel. So make sure to hit the like button. It only takes a second. It's completely free. In doing this, you will be helping this channel continue to grow. And of course, if you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys, merchandise, t-shirt like this one, make sure you hit the kit bag. And if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you head to Bet Us. And now that I'm done with my super extra long intro, let's dive right into the news, because Barcelona are set to wear a special edition jersey for the upcoming El Clasico match, which will take place in April at the Santiago Bernabeu. Of course, this is part of the sponsorship between Barcelona and Spotify, where every now and then Barcelona will release a special edition jersey where the Spotify logo is replaced by an artist logo. Of course, we saw the collaboration with Drake, where we had the OVO owl replace the Spotify logo. Then we saw Rosalia Motomami. And then the last one was the Rolling Stones. And now it seems that Barcelona will be teaming up with Karol G for this upcoming El Clasico match. Now, for those of you who don't know who Karol G is, she's a Colombian singer. She's a reggaeton singer. She has won a few Grammys, if I'm not mistaken. Incredibly popular artist. Very popular all around the world, not just in nations where they speak Spanish, but all around the world. I think she's currently on a world tour, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not a big fan, but definitely a very popular artist. And it seems that she will be doing a collaboration with Barcelona for this upcoming El Clasico match. As you can see on your screens, that's the renders that currently it's being leaked in the media, that's going to be the design. It's not final, or it's not confirmed, because I've seen different renders of the jersey, but that's the one that's been shared most. So it seems like most likely will be that one. But again, not confirmed as far as the design. But as far as being Karol G, the one teaming up with Barcelona, that is more, it's looking like it's going to be more likely. Of course, none of this has been confirmed by Barcelona, but a lot of sources are saying it's Karol G. Actually, I haven't seen any source say otherwise. But as far as the design, there is a little bit of discrepancy, with some sources saying it's one design, and the most sources saying it's this one that you're seeing on your screen. So if I have to put money on it, it's going to be 100% Karol G, with most likely being a design that you're currently seeing on the screen. Now, again, I'm not a huge fan of Karol G, but she is very popular. And I have to say, I really like that Barcelona are doing this with Spotify. I think, you know, you have the sports world and the music world, like two big worlds. They are a huge part of every human being's life. And the fact that Barcelona are bringing together both worlds, the sports and the music world together through the Spotify sponsorship, through, you know, having artists feature on special edition jerseys. I think it's a really cool thing, a really cool initiative by Barcelona and Spotify. And plus, if it means extra profits for the club, why not? You know, with these special edition jerseys, they obviously sell a lot higher than normal jersey. I think some of them go as high as €1,000 in their only special edition. So a lot of people, a lot of collectors like to buy them. So if it means more money in the pockets of Barcelona, I say why not? I actually say maybe Barcelona should put Taylor Swift on the jersey. You know, I'm not a Swiftie. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. But we all remember what happened with Bellingham and Alejandro Balde in the Golden Boy race, where Alejandro Balde was sitting first in the race. And then because he had said in a previous video that he wasn't a Taylor Swift fan, millions of her fans flooded the voting and catapulted Bellingham to first place. So, you know, Swifties, they'll do whatever Taylor says. So if Barcelona teams up with Taylor Swift, I think they put her logo on our jersey. I can only imagine millions of these fans just flooding the Barcelona stores and websites to buy the jersey. So I say, why not? But anyways, not to digress too much, let's talk about the stadium, because last time I did talk a lot about, I revealed those never seen before Camp Nou renderings, which Barcelona presented during a meeting with the Association of Architects in Catalonia. And when I showed those pictures, those renders in my video, and I discussed them, a lot of people asked me about the 360-degree screen around the stadium, because when the Spotify Camp Nou renovation was first announced, this is kind of like the image that was being shown. Maybe I'll make it bigger so you guys can see it better. But as you can see, that it appears that there's a 360 screen up top. It also appears in the video renderings that Barcelona initially announced. But then when I showed you the rendering, this is the latest one, the screen does not appear there. So I know a lot of people ask me through the comment section, you know, is the Spotify Camp Nou, is the new Spotify Camp Nou going to have the 360-degree screen? And since I didn't have information at the time, I decided not to answer any questions. I don't like giving false information, but now I've dug into it a little bit more, and this is what I've gotten from sources close to the club. Right now, the renderings are correct. There will be no 360-degree screen that goes all around the roof of the stadium. However, Barcelona are not ruling that out, and they're seeing that as a good opportunity to perhaps land a new sponsor. You know, we know that Barcelona has the sponsorship with Philips Ambilight TVs, where Philips is paying Barcelona a lot of money to be a main sponsor, so their logo can feature on the Barcelona jersey sleeve. Also, the Ambilight screens are all throughout Montjuic. They're going to be all throughout the Spotify Camp Nou. Of course, Philips are paying Barcelona to have their TVs, you know, through the Barcelona facilities. So Barcelona are thinking that maybe they could get a sponsor to build the 360-degree screens all around the stadium, and the sponsor would obviously pay Barcelona a lot of money to do this, because this is, you know, promotion for whatever company does it, whether it's, I don't know, Sony, Samsung, whoever it is. So Barcelona are not ruling out the new Spotify Camp Nou having the 360-degree screen, and they're looking at it as a good opportunity to land a new sponsor and make even more money, because if there's one thing that we know about this board of directors, is that they definitely know how to land sponsors. So far, 28 new sponsors, a record for the club. And if we can land another one, and this will be a major one, because if whichever sponsor is going to have those giant 360-degree screens all around the stadium, this is something that everybody's going to see. Every fan is going to go to the stadium, every person watching Barcelona matches. So I imagine that will be a big, big sponsorship. It will generate Barcelona a lot of money. So pretty cool news. But what's cooler is that now I get to talk to you amazing people in the chat section. So let's read you guys' comments out loud. And then we will talk about Hansi Flick's meeting with Pep Guardiola, which I know all of you guys are dying to know about, because it's a big deal. It's a big deal. All right, let's start with A-Spots, who says Barca need a manager that would add high pressing to the traditional Barca style of play and make it adaptable to modern football. I agree, but to add to your point, Barcelona style of play already contains high press. You know, the Cruyff philosophy includes the high press, recovering the ball in opposing teams' half of the field. That way, you end up not only defending yourself by taking the ball away from them, but you're creating danger because now you're getting the ball in their half, which makes it much easier to generate a chance. But I see what you're saying, because right now Barcelona are not pressing high, but that's not because it's not included in the Barcelona style of play, because Xavi has no idea what he's doing. All right, let's see. What else? Zaidi says, Mo, your thoughts on tomorrow's match? Good question. I'm worried. I'm very worried about tomorrow's match, and I'll tell you why. Because the first leg of the round of 16 between Barcelona and Napoli was a great chance for Barcelona to win that match decisively and to qualify to the quarterfinals. In other words, win by such a big margin that pretty much the qualification would be guaranteed. Why? Because at the time, Napoli had just fired their coach and hired a new one. The new coach had only been at the club, I think, for 48 hours. He had only had one training session with his new team. And in one training session, you can't do anything. You cannot implement your philosophy, your tactics. You can't do anything. And that was clearly evident on the field, because Napoli were absolutely abysmal. They were very slow in moving the ball. They were highly predictable. They were playing boring, ineffective football. They're pretty much playing like Barcelona has been playing all season. So that was our chance to capitalize on the fact that Napoli had gotten a new coach 48 hours earlier and win by such a big margin that could have guaranteed our qualification. Now it's been 3 weeks. 3 weeks might not be enough time for a coach to implement his philosophy onto a team, but it's definitely enough time to prepare for one match. Because if I'm Napoli's coach, I'm looking at the Serie A. I think they're like 27 points behind first place. They're already been knocked out of the Coppa Italia. So the only competition they're truly alive in is the Champions League. So if I'm Napoli's coach, I'm like, all right, this is the only competition we're alive in. For the next 3 weeks, all we're going to do is focus on beating Barcelona. We're just going to watch Barcelona tapes. We're going to come up with the tactics on how to beat Barcelona, and we're going to train on how to beat Barcelona. And guess what? It's not that hard to beat us. So that's what I would do if I was Napoli's coach. And that's why I'm worried, because I think tomorrow's Napoli is going to be much better than the Napoli from the first leg. And if we barely drew against the Napoli from 3 weeks ago, then tomorrow's Napoli could easily beat us. But hopefully I'm wrong. I pray to God that I'm wrong, because I want Barcelona to win tomorrow. I want Barcelona to qualify, because we need to qualify for the sake of the club's finances and for the sake of the sporting prestige. And one more comment, because Samuel says, hey Mo, Ramadan Mubarak. Ramadan Mubarak to you too, my brother, and to all the Muslims watching this channel. For those of you who don't know, Ramadan has started. That's the fasting month. The Islamic calendar fasting month. There we go. Where Muslims, it's a month of a lot of prayer, of fasting, of charity. So Ramadan Mubarak to everybody watching. And if you didn't know what Ramadan was, now you do. All right, let's get back to the news, because I'm sure all of you are waiting for the big news. And it looks like I forgot to put a slide for this news. But anyways, the news that Pep Guardiola, or Hansi Flick, has met with Pep Guardiola. By now, it's no secret that Hansi Flick is very motivated to come to Barcelona. It's reported that he started taking Spanish classes. He even started shopping in the market for people to join his staff. And he even started to watch Barcelona tapes in order to analyze the team, what the team needs, what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, how he can improve it. And it seems that that's not it. But Hansi Flick is so motivated and is so excited about becoming Barcelona's next manager, or the possibility of becoming Barcelona's next manager, that he even embarked on a European tour in order to watch matches, to see how teams are playing, and to modernize his ideas, because he has been out of the game for a few years. So he went around watching matches. It's reported that he watched the Brighton match, just to see what coaches are doing, how things have changed since last he coached, in order to adopt these modern concepts into his philosophy. So when he comes to Barcelona, he can adapt them. Now, through his European tour, Hansi Flick flew to Denmark, where he watched the Copenhagen versus Manchester City Champions League match. Again, he was in the stands taking notes. And once that match was over, he then flew to Manchester City. I'm sorry, to Manchester. Well, yeah, the city of Manchester, in order to watch a Manchester City training session. But that wasn't it. After the training session was over, Hansi Flick met with Pep Guardiola in person, where they had dinner together with him and his former assistant, blanking on the name. Anyways, it was Manchester City's assistant, if I'm not mistaken. He was most recently Galatasaray's manager. But he met with the two of them. They had dinner. It's reported that the dinner lasted more than 4 hours. And during this dinner, Hansi Flick, discussed with Pep Guardiola kind of like modern philosophies, concepts, ideas, just to like try to, modernize his philosophy, trying to keep up with the times, trying to see what other teams are doing and how he can incorporate these ideas into his own philosophy. So when he comes to Barcelona, he can implement them and, to modernize Barcelona. But not only that, Hansi Flick also spoke to Pep Guardiola about FC Barcelona. Oh, the assistant is Dominic Torrent. So pretty cool news. Looks like Hansi Flick is putting a lot of work. He really, really wants to become Barcelona's manager. I mean, he's already doing all this, and he doesn't even have the job yet. Watching Barcelona tapes, analyzing the team, going around Europe, watching matches, watching training session of Manchester City, meeting with Guardiola, with Dominic Torrent, learning Spanish, already looking in the market to choose his staff. I mean, this guy wants the job. And that tells me that Hansi Flick could be the right answer for Barcelona. Because if he's already putting in all this work and he doesn't even have the job, can you imagine what he's going to do when he actually gets the job? So really, really cool news about Hansi Flick and his meeting with Pep Guardiola. And I think we got ourselves a pretty solid candidate. Now, of course, in my personal opinion, I still think his resume is a little bit short, which is a little worrisome. But nonetheless, it's still a very, very impressive resume. He, won a sextuple. Besides Pep, he's the only other person to ever do that in the history of football. So it is a little worrisome that it's short, but nonetheless, it's still an impressive resume. And I think what I also like about Flick is the fact that he's a coach that really, really demands a lot from his players. And that's something that's missing on the team. I think that our team has become extremely complacent. And the reason why is because I don't think there are any repercussions. Jean Laporta said there's going to be repercussions for losing. I haven't seen any. Xavi Hernandez, every time he gets in front of a mic, talks about how great the team played, even though the team didn't play great. So I don't think there are any repercussions in the locker room. And as such, we've seen a total complacency of the players where they barely run. They're just jogging behind the ball. They don't even care. And I think that's going to change if we do bring Flick. Flick is the kind of coach that you either give him 110% or you're getting benched. And if it continues happening, you're out of the team, period. So I think that's what we need right now. And when I hear all these things about Flick, doing all these things before his job, before he even has the job, I'm starting, to get convinced more and more that maybe Flick is who we need. Anyways, let's start with the chat section, and then we will talk about Laporta's meeting with Hansi Flick's agent. We're not done with Flick. All right, let's see. B says, hey Mo, I heard we signed a new kid. Be on the lookout for the video later tonight. We'll be talking about Barcelona's new signing. I was going to include it in the live stream, but the news came out after I was preparing for the live stream. So had I added him, it would have been too long. The topics were already set. But I will be making a video after the live stream is over talking about Barcelona's newest signing. All right, let's see. Jamie says, about the UCL match, I already bet on Napoli to qualify, so it's a win-win situation for me. If we qualify, I'll be happy. If we don't, I get the money. I don't know how I feel about people betting against their own team, but hey, if you can make money, more power to you. Louis says, Mo, aside from Swift, name your 3 favorite artists you'd like to partner with Barca. Oof, okay. So again, Swift, I think it would be a huge financial boost to Barcelona, not because I'm a Swiftie. I don't care for her music. Oh, God. I just said that live. I hope her fans don't inundate my channel. That's a good question. I think Bad Bunny would be one. And I'm looking at this from the perspective of who are the biggest artists right now, right? Because we want to partner with the biggest artist, regardless whether we like their music or not, because it's not about what we like. It's about who can bring the most people into the Barcelona stores to buy the jerseys, right? Because that's going to help Barcelona financially. So I think Bad Bunny would be one. Let me think who else. Man, it'd be cool if we did it maybe with... Shit, I can't even think about who else is big right now. Bad Bunny, Swift. I'll think about a third artist. I don't want to take too long, but let me know what you guys would like to see. Neste says Kanye West. The problem with Kanye West is too controversial, and we don't want controversy. We want just people to blindly go and buy Barcelona jerseys, even if they've never seen a Barcelona match. All right, let's see. Israel says, Mo, great job. Please keep authentic. Always keep it authentic. Thank you, my friend. And my friend Klaus. My friend Klaus is always on the live streams. I don't know if you heard, Klaus. I'm going to start doing live streams at 6:30 p.m. instead of 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's an hour earlier. With daylight savings, it means 2 hours earlier. So hopefully that helps, people like you who are across the pond. So you don't have to wait for too late. Okay. Let's see. We'll do one more comment and then we'll get back to the news. But Isaac says, Mo, do you think it will be disrespectful to give Flick a contract for 1 year? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you look, Flick is doing all this work, trying to get ready to be a Barcelona manager, learning Spanish, picking his staff, watching Barcelona tape, going around Europe on his own dime to watch matches, meeting with Pep. And then you're like, oh, we're just going to give you 1 year because we don't really trust you. It would be disrespectful. But okay, speaking of Flick, that's a good segue. Let's talk about the next segment of news, which is that Jan Laporta was spotted once again meeting with Pini Zahabi, the super football Asian who represents not only our own Robert Lewandowski, but also Hansi Flick, who Flick actually just recently hired him, which not only signaled that Flick was ready to get back to work and be a manager, but some people took it as a signal that Flick was choosing Barcelona because he knows that Pini Zahabi is a very close friend of Laporta. We're not talking about, they have good business relationship or they know each other. No, they're actual friends. They've had business dealings together, Laporta and Zahabi. And the fact that Flick chose Zahabi where he could have chosen, a myriad of other Asians, some people took it as a signal that maybe Flick was choosing Barcelona. And today, Jan Laporta was seen having lunch with Pini Zahabi once again. Of course, as I said, they are friends. So it could have been just a casual lunch. Maybe they're talking about, I don't know, hot girls. Or maybe they were discussing Hansi Flick. As you recall, the last time Pini Zahabi and Jan Laporta saw each other was in the Barcelona versus Getafe match where we won 4-0 and Pini Zahabi was seen at the stadium with Jan Laporta. There was no official statements or anything from the club. So a lot of people said, well, maybe they were just, hanging out. But later on, we found out that, yes, they were hanging out. Yes, they were just watching the match. But during that match, that's when Pini Zahabi told Jan Laporta that Flick wants to come to Barcelona and that he's already watching Barcelona tape in order to analyze the match. So today's lunch could also be a casual lunch where the two are just hanging out. But who knows? Maybe the Flick name also came up. I'm sure we'll know more tomorrow or in the upcoming days. Maybe it was not a casual lunch. Maybe it was an official lunch. And they really did talk about business. Again, we'll find out more. But it's very interesting that we're seeing Laporta with Pini Zahabi a lot as Hansi Flick is being linked with Barcelona more and more. But now that's not all, because Pini Zahabi will actually be attending Barcelona's match tomorrow against Napoli. He will be present at the stadium. So we'll see what comes out of these meetings. We'll see if they discuss business, if it was just for pleasure, or maybe it was for pleasure and business. We'll find out more. But again, very interesting that we're seeing Pini Zahavi meeting with Laporta more and more often, as Hansi Flick is being linked over and over again with Barcelona. All right, let's get back to the chat section. I do want to mention one thing real quick about the Nike thing, because I reported yesterday in yesterday's video that Nike have now upped their offer, and as a result, Puma have upped their offer. And a lot of people were saying, in the comment section, Nike, they've disrespected us, they've spat in our face, they ripped us off, we should abandon them. And not to defend Nike, because I don't care. I don't care about Nike. I don't care about Puma. They're multi-billion-dollar corporations. And whether they sign with Barcelona or don't, it's not going to affect them much, because they're going to make their money either way. I have no horse in the race, or no dog in the race. I think Barcelona should sign with whoever offers them the most money and the best deal. That's what I want for Barcelona. I want Barcelona to make the most money out of this deal. I don't care if it's Nike, if it's Puma, if it's Adidas, if it's whoever, Victoria's Secret. I don't care. I just care that Barcelona make a lot of money. So I'm not trying to defend Nike. But to be fair, you cannot really blame Nike for the current contract, because that's the contract that Barcelona agreed to. Nike are not ripping us off. That's what Barcelona negotiated. And you can't blame Nike for the incompetence of Bartomeu. If a person offers to sell you his brand new Ferrari for $10,000, of course you're going to accept that deal. It's the deal of a lifetime. To buy a Ferrari for $10,000, hell yeah. That doesn't mean you're ripping off the guy. That doesn't mean you're disrespecting him. It doesn't mean you're spitting in his face. He just offered you a great deal. Of course you're going to take it. He's the idiot who's offering you a terrible deal for him, but it's a great deal for you. So again, why would Nike say no to the Bartomeu deal if it's like they're Ferrari, right? They're being offered the opportunity to sponsor one of the biggest clubs in the world for very little money. Of course they're going to take it. They're not going to say no to that. They're in the business of making money. So again, and I'm not trying to defend Nike. I don't really care about Nike. I don't really care about Puma. I just care about Barcelona making the best deal and get the most money. But, we got to be fair. These are corporations. They're in the business of making money. Of course, they're going to accept the deal. You can't blame them for Bartomeu being an idiot. Okay, let's do a few more comments, and then we will talk about the last bit of news, which is Mason Greenwood. All right. What else? Where did we leave off? Where else? SA says, team tries so minimum solid, not great players at us, remember? I'm not sure I understand what you're trying to say. If you can clarify, that'd be great. Kill Bill Mad says, no big team wants him. Barca is the only team that is considering him, so no wonder he's trying so hard, being unemployed. Sykes, actually, that's not true. Flick has been linked with Manchester United. Bayern Munich wanted him, but he said no. And I'm not sure about Liverpool. I think I read something about Liverpool considering him, but definitely Bayern Munich and ManU. So it's not true that other teams are not considering him. Sean says, hey, Mo, if Xabi lose tomorrow and they fire him, it's best they hire the Barca Femini coach. He's actually quitting, the Barca Femini coach. At the end of the season, he's stepping down. Dovakin says, where's Metallica? That's a good question. But the thing about Metallica, I'm thinking more of on the global. Like, obviously, Metallica has a huge fan base, but it's not as relevant today as someone like, let's say, Taylor Swift or Bad Bunny. Right? Obviously, I would rather have Metallica because, they have more skills in their toenail than in an entire Taylor Swift's body. But, I'm thinking more about it. Who is the most relevant right now? Swift and Bad Bunny would be kind of like the top two. Metallica is not really as relevant as them. Not to say that they're not great or they're not, Metallica is Metallica. They're legends. But right now, they're not as relevant, right? So I'm just looking at it from pure monetary perspective. And Klaus says, fantastic for me in England. Much appreciated. Anytime, my friend. Hope everybody is happy with the new schedule. And Johnny from Chicago. I love Chicago, the windy city. I do love deep dish pizza, but Living in New York, I do have to say New York pizza is better. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm sorry. But I do like deep dish. I'm not going to say it's bad. I just don't believe in eating a pizza with a fork. You know, it's so freaking thick. Like, why is it so big? But it is. I'm digressing. Let's do the last bit of news, and then we'll do a bunch of comments. But let's talk about Mason Greenwood, the 22-year-old right winger who's currently on loan with Getafe in some kind of weird agreement where it's not too clear whether he's there on loan or Getafe own part of his rights. It's not clear if there's an option to buy or an obligation to buy. All we know that he's currently at Getafe. Manchester United are looking to fully offload him during this summer. And as such, Barcelona had contemplated the idea because they need proper wingers. We don't have proper wingers besides Lamine Yamal. Rafinha is not really a Barca-style winger. Joao Felix is not a winger at all. And Ferran Torres, you know, he's not really Barca level. So Barcelona were considering Mason Greenwood, especially because his current market value, which sits at 6.5 million euros, which is incredibly low. And of course, it's all due to his whole criminal case last year. So that has brought his market value down by a lot. And as such, Barcelona were considering that maybe this would be a good deal because most likely Mason Greenwood, you know, continues to grow and develop. This is as low as his market value will ever be until he becomes old again, or until he becomes old, not again. He hasn't been old before. But Manchester United have now set a price for Greenwood, and it seems that the English team wants around 40 million euros or 30 to 40 million euros for Greenwood. Now, Getafe does get a priority because of the agreement they have with ManU. Again, it's not too clear what the agreement is. They're keeping that contract really tight. Not many people know what the exact terms of the contract is, but it is clear that Getafe does get priority over any other club. So if Getafe decide to sign him, they would get priority. I don't see Getafe being able to afford that. And more importantly, because I don't really care about Getafe, Barcelona will definitely not be willing to pay 30 to 40 million for anyone unless it's a pivot position, because Barcelona have earmarked around 40 million euros for the pivot position. So I don't see Barcelona spending that on anyone, let alone on Mason Greenwood, who Barcelona were not like 100% sure about. They were just something they considered because they thought, okay, maybe we can sell an expensive winger like Rafinha or Ferran, and then in their place sign A proper winger who can actually dribble past players, and B, who would be much, much cheaper. So you're replacing an expensive winger for a cheaper winger. But 30 to 40 million euros, I don't see Barcelona paying that. Unless ManU decide to come down on that price, we can rule Mason Greenwood completely out. But anyways, that is all the news. Let's do some comments. Daylight saving time is amazing. Sun's still out. And it's 7 p.m. over here. It would have been already dark. Okay. Let's see. Alimami says, hi, Mo. My name is Alman. I'm from Sierra Leone. Thanks for all the Barcelona news. Thank you for watching, my friend. And shout out to everyone in Sierra Leone. Let's see. Aishal says, hey, Mo, I haven't been on much of your lives, but I appreciate the hard work put into your videos, watching from Aruba. Oh, that's so cool. I love Aruba, by the way. I went there a couple of years ago, and I absolutely had a blast. I stayed in the southern part of the island, stayed away from Oranjestad because I don't like to be in big cities when I go to islands. I rented a car. I drove all over the island. Great experience. I loved Aruba, and I'm very jealous that you get to live there all year round. Batrat says, where you live in the USA? I live in New York City. Let's see. What else? SA says, Xabi saying we played great isn't accurate, but he means that we at least play solid. Because remember, y'all, we do have great players. Hard to get anything with that. The team does try. I don't know. If you look at Barcelona's performances and you think that they're trying, then your standard for trying is very low. Because given the players that we have, we should be performing much better than that. And actually, they're not trying. Look at Mallorca. Mallorca match. Lamine Yamal scores goal, 75th minute. Team completely shuts down after that. They start walking, barely running, jogging after the ball. Athletic Club de Bilbao, drawn 0-0. Great opportunity to move to second place, to cut the distance between us and Real Madrid since Madrid had dropped points. Last 20 minutes, players walking around, barely jogging. They're not trying. They're really not trying. Okay. Clan says, Mo, what do you think of Sergio Roberto starting tomorrow? I don't think he'll start. He might get some minutes. He's been injured for a very long time, but I don't mind it. Sergio Roberto is a midfielder. He's a natural midfielder. He came out through La Masia as a midfielder. He's always done well. Not like spectacular or great in a midfield, but he does much better in a midfield than in fullback because he's not a fullback. I don't know why the hell we ever played him as fullback. It was more of a kind of desperation because we didn't have anyone. But whenever Sergio Roberto has played in the midfield, he's done fine. I don't mind it. But I'm not going to say yay, Sergio's starting. But I'm also not I'm going to jump off a building because Sergio's starting like some people, say. But anyways, Dark says, Mo, do you think Xavi should move Joao to an AMF position? It seems like he always seems to drift towards the center. Yeah, he technically is an attacking midfielder / second striker. That's more his natural position. He's not a natural winger. But I think the only place we should move Joao to is an airplane and send him back to Madrid. Because the thing with Joao is he picks and chooses his matches. If he put him against, I don't know, what's the last match he played? Mallorca. You just see him walking around. He tries a fancy dribble. It doesn't really work. So he's like, I don't care. But then you put him against Atletico Madrid and he's full. He's fully powered. He's running. He's trying his best. He's doing amazing things. And that's the problem with him. He chooses and picks his matches whenever, if he feels like playing, he does great. And if not, he'll just walk around. And I'm sorry, but this is Barcelona. You don't get to pick and choose your matches. You better give your 110% every single match, not whenever you feel like it. But anyways, let's see. Let's do one more. Kulelu says, who is more likely to leave, Kunde or Araujo? Kunde, of course. Araujo's not leaving. Araujo's absolutely untouchable. Barcelona have no intention of leaving. The only way Araujo would leave is if Araujo says, I want to leave. Otherwise, he's not leaving. Kunde, Barcelona are actually open to hearing offers for Kunde. If a great offer comes in, they'll talk to the player. The idea of Barcelona is not to offload anyone. They don't want to offload anyone. They feel like offloading players would weaken the team, but they understand that they have to offload players, so they will. But they prefer not to. And besides the untouchables, almost any player, if a big offer comes to the club will consider it. And the untouchables are, Pedri, Gavi, Araujo, Frankie. All those players are untouchables where it doesn't matter what kind of offer comes in, Barcelona are not even going to consider it. Everyone else, Lewandowski, Rafinha, who else? Anybody else? Inigo, they will hear the offer. Kunde, obviously Lamine, Kouarsi, those are also not for sale, no matter how much money Barcelona are offered. All right. Maybe we'll do one more. Monster Lou. I have a good feeling about tomorrow. My prediction is Barcelona's gonna score 3 goals. I hope so, my friend. I really, really hope so. We need to qualify from the sporting perspective, but more importantly, from the financial perspective, because Barcelona needs to meet its budget. And in order to meet its budget, we have to qualify to the quarterfinals. Because if we don't, Barcelona won't meet its budget. And if we don't meet our budget, that will have financial fair play repercussions come the summer. So we need to qualify. So I pray to God that we do qualify. But anyways, that is it for tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. Drop a comment down below letting me know your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. Don't forget to hit the like button. Very, very important for the YouTube algorithm to hit the like button. Actually, more important than anything else. Thank you for watching. I will see you in a video later tonight. I will be uploading one more video talking about Barcelona's newest signing, So I'll see you then. And as always, peace, Barca.